hundreds and hundreds of cars, so people can go and have their classic American consumerist opportunity. And on this day, there didn't seem to be anyone outside. No one wanted to shop for anything. I wonder what that's indicative of. And so we went into this epic, huge mall with like 5 people in it. And we paid some money, and we went to go see the 7 o'clock showing of W, the new Oliver Stone biopic about George W. Bush. And so we sat down with the other audience members, 4 of them, and then the lights went down about half an hour before, 20 minutes before showtime, and we were inundated with about 27 to 32 minutes of commercials. I'm being sold Tide detergent as I'm waiting for a film, and a lot of people would find this really, really insulting, but the 6 of us had been so pummeled by this kind of thing, we just kind of took it quietly. Even the Kid Rock video we were subjected to, which is, I don't know the guy, I got nothing against the guy, but I just don't need the Kid Rock video. It's not like a bonus for me. I kind of went, just let this end and let the movie begin. And so finally the movie began, and about halfway through the film, I kind of half watched the film and used the film as a jumping off point to go daydreaming about George W. Bush. Josh Brolin, the guy, the wonderful actor who is George W. Bush, did some amazing Bushisms. I mean, like, really had the mannerisms. He's a testament to just what a damn great actor he is. The film is okay. It didn't blow my mind. There's not a whole lot you're going to find out about the man that you did not already know if you've been paying any amount of attention to the Bush shenanigans for the last 7 years and several months. You kind of know what you came for. Basically, I just kind of watched the film with one eye and, you know, kind of went wandering off, wondering what happens to Mr. Bush, Mr. Bush after he steps down in a few days, because someone else is going to be taking over. And this may sound corny to you, but George W. Bush is never a man that I hated. And I'm not sticking up for him or defending any of his actions. I think that he's probably a moral man surrounded by people who eat scorched earth for breakfast and play the hardest of hardball. And basically his agenda was that which he signed off on. And at the end of the day, he will be seen as perhaps America's most famous patsy. I mean, he's just a setup guy. And again, it sounds like I'm kind of defending him. I'm not trying to, but if you really think about it, he was just kind of pushed at things, and I wonder how he was sold the invasion and occupation of Iraq. It was always my opinion that he probably thought it was a good idea because we're good, they're evil, good will trump evil, and maybe that's how they gave it to him. They said, hey, look, coach, here's what you need to do to save this and shore up what your dad tried to finish and all of this, and you can be the decider on this one. And he probably went, well, okay, you know, because he doesn't seem to be an intellectually curious fellow, so he might, you know, not necessarily stupid, but just doesn't always want to know more. And that becomes quite evident. You see it in his speeches. There's always somewhere he'd rather be. And he seems very dismissive when the press want to have a word with him. Like, you know, why do you want to talk about all that old shit for? Well, it's your job to answer to the press. No, it's not. Oh, you're right. Not anymore. And so I wonder if after he steps down, he'll be nothing like his father, who in his post-presidential life is somewhat impressive, as in he got together with President Bill Clinton, and side by side, these two people who, you know, fought an election out, they went out and tried to give aid to tsunami sufferers. They went out and raised money. And George Sr. very generously used to say all the time when he'd introduce his friend Bill Clinton, he goes, and this is the man who beat me soundly in my second presidential campaign. And he says soundly, like the guy whipped my ass. And he did. And Clinton always kind of turns a shade of pink and kind of squeezes George's arm and, you know, says, yeah, well, it's true. But the fact that George Sr. did fight in World War II, he did actually learn a thing or two in school, and he seems to be way more about something than his son. And I'm not saying either one are great. I'm just saying the father makes the son look mild by comparison. And so I'm wondering what George W. will do when he steps down. Will he be out and about like President Clinton, like President Jimmy Carter, who seems to work 9 days a week, and he's like, what, 117 years of age, and he preaches every Sunday. He goes all over the world. He tries to make peace. He tries to be an ambassador of peace all over the world, and he gets leaders to sit down like he used to when he was president. People who usually not talk to this guy, they'll sit down and listen to Jimmy Carter. And I quite like the guy, and I think he's doing a hell of a job for a guy who probably is not all that comfortable getting up and moving around all day. Yeah, not many of us know what it's like to be 70-something and have to get up at 6 a.m. and like go do stuff. We'll see how we are when we get there. And so I think Mr. Carter performs magnificently, as does George Sr. And so we'll see what George W. does when he steps down. I predict they already have sold off the prop Hollywood Ranch. That was nothing but a prop to make him look kind of outdoorsy and somewhat dim-witted, which makes some parts of America jump up on their hind legs and go, "My man!" And so I wonder if Mr. and Ms. Bush will retire to some beautiful condominium in part of the Dallas or Houston skyline, a huge condominium, like the floor of a building, meaning one person gets one long hallway down to a master bedroom, the other person gets a long hallway down to the other master bedroom, Prozac and Stoli in one room, Jack Daniels and antidepressants of another kind in the other room, only to meet in the evenings for a cold, somewhat quiet dinner of grinding teeth and nice forks hitting the best china, while the help kind of goes chewing their lower lip, hoping that it will be over soon. I just don't see George W. Bush going out there and saying, "Hey, I want to help now. I'm going to do speeches. I'm going to go to my library and watch as my people rewrite the last 8 years of my life to make me look like I did something that was not catastrophic to the entire fucking world." And so I wonder if George W. Bush will become this person kind of thrown into the American mythology as almost a Citizen Kane character. This kind of guy, this tragic person, almost Shakespearean, as he does this slow swan song. And I think that George W. Bush is about to face the longest term of his life in just a few days from now. And I don't feel sorry for the guy because he's an adult. He should have made more rational decisions. I do think, well, sending a bunch of kids into an unendurable, unsustainable conflict that brings them back in bags with their arms blown off, it's not such a great idea. And he also does know, without a doubt, that he's splattered in the blood of dead soldiers. He is a war criminal, and all the people around him are war criminals. And all of them know that. And